All right, today we are diving into something that is an absolute game changer, especially if you're using AI to help you build things. It's called VueUse. That's VueUse. And it's pretty much the secret weapon for taking that messy, often confusing code your AI spits out and turning it into something clean, professional, and just better. Let's get right into it. You've been there, right? You have this great idea. You ask your AI assistant, hey, can you add a simple feature, like just remember what a user typed into a form? And what you get back is, well, it's a monster. It's this giant wall of code that's almost impossible to read, a nightmare to manage, and you just know there are bugs hiding in there. It's super frustrating. It makes you feel less like a creator and more like a code janitor. But what if I told you that entire wall of code could be replaced by just one single elegant line? What if you could start telling your AI what you want, your high-level goal, instead of getting stuck in the weeds telling it exactly how to do every little thing? Well, guess what? You can. It turns out there's a much, much smarter way to build. So let's pull back the curtain and meet the tool that makes all this possible. Think of it like a professional toolkit, a collection of superpowers that you can hand over to your AI. This is VueUse. At its core, it's basically a library packed with pre-built, totally battle-tested solutions for all those common things you need to do in web development. So instead of asking your AI to reinvent the wheel every single time you need to, say, save some data or check if the user is online, you can just tell it, hey, go grab the perfect tool for that job from the toolbox. I really love these metaphors because they just nail what VueUse feels like. Yeah, it's a toolbox filled with specialized, ready-to-go tools. It's also like an orchestra, where every function is a world-class musician who knows their part perfectly. And it's like a power grid, making all these essential utilities instantly available anywhere in your app whenever you need them. So you might be wondering, where does VueUse actually fit into the whole picture? Well, it's not a framework like Vue itself. It's more of a helper layer that sits right on top. It's not building the foundation and the walls of your house. No, it's providing all the good stuff inside. The high-quality wiring, the smart plumbing, all the things that take a basic structure and turn it into a home you actually want to live in. It just makes everything better. Now, the real secret sauce behind VueUse's power is this one concept called composables. Seriously, if you can get your head around this one idea, everything else just clicks into place. So let's break down exactly what they are and how they work. Let's just forget all the technical jargon for a second. A composable is, simply put, a skill packet. That's it. Need your app to know where the mouse is on the screen? There's a skill packet for that. Need it to figure out if the user's device has gone offline? Yep, there's a skill packet for that too. Each one is its own little self-contained bundle of logic you can just plug and play. And here's the beautiful part. Every single one of these skill packets follows the same simple, elegant life cycle. First, you call it. You just ask for the skill in one line of code. Second, it does its own setup, getting everything it needs ready. Third, it runs quietly in the background, doing its job. And finally, and this part is just genius, it automatically cleans up after itself when you don't need it anymore. No mess, no leftover junk. It's so clean. Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine you need to save some information in the browser. You could try to figure out all the steps yourself, or you could just call use local storage. That's like hiring a professional file clerk. You just hand them a document and say, file this. You don't know or care how they do it. They just handle all the details. And when the office closes, meaning that part of your app isn't on the screen anymore, the clerk just packs up and goes home. Simple as that. Okay, so we get the what and the how. But now, for the really important part, how does all this change the way you, the creator, actually talk to your AI assistant? Well, this is the part where you stop being a code prompter and you start becoming an AI director. This is it. This is the fundamental shift in thinking. Before, you were a micromanager, right? You were telling the AI every little step. Add this listener, create that variable, now update it, now don't forget to clean it up. But now you communicate with intent. You just state the outcome you want, persist this data, track the network status. You're speaking the language of results, not the language of process. And just look at the difference this makes in practice. I mean, it's night and day. On the left, that's your simple, clear request, your intent. And on the right, that's the AI's answer. It's not that wall of code anymore. It's one clean, descriptive line that grabs the right tool from the toolbox. It's efficient, it's professional, and it's so much easier to understand. So, what are the new rules of the road when you're directing your AI? Well, on the yes please side, you definitely want it working on your app's components and config files. And it's actually great at creating new custom skill packets just for you. But on the no thank you side, you never want it touching the library code itself. And most importantly, you have to stop it from reinventing tools that are already in VueUse. No more writing that messy manual logic from scratch. Just stick to the tools in the toolbox. To really make this workflow second nature, all you need to do is keep a few core principles in mind. Think of these as the simple rules that guarantee the code your AI helps you write is always top-notch. First and foremost, the golden rule. Always, always prefer a composable. If a tool for the job already exists in that toolbox, just use it. Don't let your AI build a new hammer if there's a perfectly good one sitting right there. And when you do make your own tools, follow the conventions, like starting their names with use. And finally, you have to trust the system. Let the file clerk do their job. You don't need to look over their shoulder and micromanage how they organize the files. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, but it's all been leading up to this one final, really powerful insight. This is the idea that, once it truly clicks for you, will change how you think about building things forever. You see, VueUse isn't really about just saving a few lines of code here and there. That's a nice side effect, but it's not the point. It actually represents a much deeper, more fundamental shift in how we build modern software. It's an entire philosophy of creation, all wrapped up in a library. And here it is. The core philosophy is composition. The old days of a lone coder starting with a blank screen and building everything from scratch, those days are over. Today, building powerful applications is much more like composing a symphony. It's about knowing what instruments are available, these reliable, reusable parts, and then skillfully weaving them together to create something amazing. And this changes your role entirely. You're no longer the bricklayer, obsessing over every single brick. You are the architect, designing the master blueprint. You are the composer, orchestrating all the different musicians. Your job is to direct the high-level assembly of these powerful, pre-built pieces. So there you have it. You now have the toolbox, you have the principles, and most importantly, you have the mindset to direct your AI with total clarity and confidence. You've officially graduated from being a code prompter to an application composer. So the only question left is, now that you have the orchestra at your command, what are you going to compose next?